Welcome back, day 17 for Python training. And today, let's focus on automation using Selenium. Get the basics of it. And I want to talk about certain things, team. One of the most important things is prereqs, what I'm expecting you to already know in this. Things like little bit about element identification, how automation frameworks work, and so on. So not too much, but that's something that we will look into. But if you're following the other trainings, then this is relevant. If otherwise you don't even need Selenium. If you need to know Selenium, you need to do this. But the focus will be how to run tests from Python. So we won't go in detail into Selenium in these sessions. Second, I will show some basic tests and assignments on frameworks. I will review them myself live with all of you because there's a lot we can do hands-on. I would love to explain, but I just believe the way you all are explaining, that will be brilliant. So quick question, team. Can I do a poll? I think I can create a poll. Are you okay? Quickly. It shouldn't take too long. Sorry. Okay. Can you see my screen? I don't think, but if I do this, yes. The question that I'm going to ask is, are you comfortable in automation testing with any language? Yes, little, no. So that's the first question, team. Can you quickly answer? I'll know most of you what's happening there. But before that, another poll is what are we doing? Is it Python? Frameworks is there. So next is element identification. This is like using XPath, ID, name, different attributes. Yes, little, no. The last one I want to ask you all is frameworks. Automation frameworks like DDF, ADF, hybrid framework, page object model, page factory, and so on. Yes, little, no. And it's just concepts, team. I'm not saying expert. Concepts, what they are. I'm not saying that you need to be mastering all of this right now. All right. Say this. And can you all be alert? So quickly we can finish all these three polls. So first one, let me say. Automation testing, yeah, in general. Yes, no, team. Can you put it on the not in the chat? Please give your answers by clicking on your screen, everyone. Click on your screen, team. What's your question, Suresh? Can you please explain what you mean by that? I don't know what you mean by what. Can you tell me which part? I can go back. So, team, almost everyone voted. I think I can close this. Okay, sure. All right, Suresh. 92% votes. Team, can I close it? Most of us have voted. So, are you comfortable? And I'm just sharing, team, what everyone is voting. Most of you are saying, are you comfortable with automation testing? You know the basics of it and so on. That is 3% are little. So none of you are someone who do not know automation testing. So that's good. The next one is this element identification. And then is my pie chart. Let's see. I was doing a Selenium test also. Almost 71% votes, 80%, 86. All right, team. I'm closing the poll now. I have one more question after that. So almost the same results, team. As part of it, you also know element identification. Maybe the third one, so like at least 2/3 of you know it well, 1/3 of you a little bit. So it's good to know. So that's a very good audience. And now comes the other one, concepts, automation frameworks. So do you know what a KDF is? Data-driven framework or hybrid framework, and how they work. Otherwise, little bit of it you'll have to learn, team. And in that case, what will happen is once you learn automation frameworks, maybe with Selenium and Java, then you can come back and implement the same a little bit more advanced. I'll close this one too and share it with everyone. Great. So I think we are there, except for a few of you, but I'll slow it down. I won't go too fast. That way we good. So primarily what we're talking about right now is how we work with something that Python doesn't come built in with. What do you want? So see what happens is my Python is my programming language. Okay, so it can interact with what? It can interact with a lot of things. You've seen it, right? With text files we interacted, and then I can show you how we can interact with databases or APIs and so on. So different things. So Python comes inbuilt with certain libraries, but not necessarily it's got everything. So there are external libraries. So why do we need external libraries? Python is an open source programming language, right? So the whole world is using it, and everyone is using it for a different purpose. Each of their need is absolutely could be different, what they're building using Python. So since it's open source, they want it to be able to integrate with lot of applications. And one of the simplest applications we can talk about would be like the text files or APIs or an Excel and so on. Now, Selenium WebDriver or Selenium by itself is such an external library or package through which Python can suddenly start interacting with web applications. Otherwise, Python doesn't have inbuilt anything to interact. It can do basic programming and everything. So to do that, we use import statements. So in my system, it will work because Selenium is already installed. Can I show it on any of your screens who have PyCharm open, please, for a quick minute? And then one of you mentioned that you had a question or something in the chat group. So when I give the assignment to the team on to do something, I may want to look at your screen. Yes, I got a couple of hands raised. Thank you for such a good cooperation. Team, who wants to present and show? From there, said Suresh, I got your hand raised. Making you present. So what we talk about is, thank you, Suresh. Can you hear me? Can I hear you? Okay. So I can't hear you well enough.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, now perfect. Loud and clear. Okay. So team, what happens is we need to install some external libraries to this. And that is where we use a command called PIP. PIP basic, no, don't worry about this. So PIP is basically to install any Python packages. All of this is packages, like we call them as jar files in Java, and we need to import and use them. So what we have to do is, by default, I'll ask for control. Suresh, one second. And I want you all to do the same thing at your end. If not simultaneously, then later. I'm not able to get your keyboard and mouse. Is it because of, one second. Can you give me access to your keyboard and mouse? Or maybe you can follow directions also. That's fine. So what do we do now?
Yeah, I can give you the access. I'm just doing it right now. Should have.
I can guide you if you want me to.
Yeah, please.
Okay, sure. So let's go to the code. Let's open up a new Python code. Yes, please. Let's say what is the series here that I'm going through. One second in my PyCharm. Where's my PyCharm? Okay, one second. So we've done till 34, is it? So you can say 35 SWD, please.
I'm unable to, since I gave control to you, I guess.
Oh, do I have access maybe? Let go of your mouse for a second.
1 second. I'm sorry, something is not really working for me.
No problem. That's funny, right? It's not even telling.
It's not allowing me to even type.
Type, is it? You want to restart PyCharm maybe? Or let's say, I'll do once again just in case it says no. Okay.
Yeah, I'm able to do it right now.
Okay,
35.
so 35 SWD Selenium WebDriver. Okay, great. So now the first thing we have to talk about is how we run some commands, team. So if I write a code like, just say my d equals,
Sorry, what is it?
my d, like my driver, or no spaces, please. My uppercase. Actually, this is not going to be. Let me do it at my end for a couple of seconds and then show you why it will not work the same code at your end. Okay.
Sure.
We can write the same code. Let me show you. So here, everyone can see my screen, right? Suresh, you can also.
No, not yet.
Let me know once you can. Is it an internet issue? Let me say stop sharing.
We are able to see it now.
Now it's gone.
Yep.
Now it should. Is it back?
They are able to see your screen.
Okay, 35 SWD. So if I write something like my D equals WebDriver, or uppercase, I don't know, dot Chrome, nothing basically comes up. I'm not able to recognize these commands. So primarily what happens is Selenium has a small package called that WebDriver package. If I have that, my Python command can start interacting with the web browser. So in the software testing and automation world, we use it to give commands and see how something works. And if something goes wrong, we'll figure out what to do. I want to show you a scenario of how we do testing using. So to be able to make this happen, we have to write a code like from Selenium import WebDriver. Only then am I able to get to commands of WebDriver. Suresh, can you show that same thing at your end? If that is working, to write that first from Selenium import WebDriver and till here.
Sure.
Let's put it in chat also, just in case. Because now we have to do something called as pip install. I think pip install Selenium only, not WebDriver. Yeah, and how that will happen. So let me make you presenter again. Sorry, team, we're switching screens a bit, but this is critical because I want to make sure you all understand how we're doing it. Okay, good. So now import WebDriver. So that basically is not getting recognized. So if you say my d equals WebDriver dot, so it's showing what it was like earlier before the import. So even if you don't have the import or with import, it is not installed. So Selenium is not yet installed on your Python project team. And what we talk about, we will talk about this a little bit more, our concept of this virtual environments. So each folder has its own virtual environment that we use. And that's why if you see on the top, the name of the project is VENV project code 35-swd.py. You see the name on the top, Python training on PyCharm. So it's a virtual environment that gets created. Now what we have to do is go to your terminal, please. In the bottom, you see this thing called terminal team. So here you have to type pip that is space install Selenium space, sorry. And if everything is correct, it knows this packages where they are, and enter please now. It should start downloading all the required packages. Do you see that? What's happening? And everyone should be able to have this almost a similar success now. Now, Suresh, go back to your line 2, delete the dot and try again, please. See, so you've got now control of it. That is how you get Selenium installed on Python with PyCharm using this terminal and pip. So the command basically is pip space install Selenium. Everyone, if you are there in front of it, you could do it, because after this I'll give you an exercise. Is that clear enough, team? Thank you, Suresh. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now let's talk about how we write a code. So I need to talk about what we do, team. So primarily what we're saying is I want it to go to a specific browser and open a URL, click a button, and do a bunch of things maybe. So if I say WebDriver dot, I want to talk about where my Chrome driver itself is, because this is overall WebDriver team. The way the packages are installed, if you look at not packages, the Selenium WebDriver, and how we have one each version for our with Chrome or Firefox, Gecko, and all these things coming together. So the idea is I need to make sure that that is installed for me as well. So if I say WebDriver.Chrome, I need to primarily give the path to it. Where is my, see here it says executable underscore path. So it's the same driver that we use for your Selenium with Java or anything. But let's go to download WebDriver Chrome. I'm sorry, team. Chrome WebDriver. So this is the page that you go to and download the latest one that's to your version team, whichever you use your version. 1 second. I'm sorry, team. So, for example, my current version of Google Chrome is version 80 point some series. Right? So I'll download this 80 point series. I'll not go to 81 or 70. That makes it consistent for me. That's one thing you have to do it manually, team, unless we integrate with Maven, but even then, a little bit there to do. So you're going to download this unzip team, and it will come up to you something like, let's go to C drive, drivers. Very sorry, team. I had a very bad cough, so I had to go back on mute for a second. Okay. So this is where I put that specific file. So all I need is the path to this team. So I'll right click. When I'm recording this video, team, definitely makes a lot of sense to go back and watch it and do a lot of exercises and practice from here. Because we won't have enough time to go through Python and Selenium frameworks, all of it so much. So I copied the path and I'll say like they said, right? Suggested above executable underscore path equals in a string format where the Chrome driver.exe is. So this executable file is needed for Python to pass commands to a web browser, the Chrome driver, which is how Selenium WebDriver works for Chrome. Similar way we have it for other browsers too. Now, at this point, I think it should work, but I'm not sure. Let's try. Which one is this? It's executing the other one. I don't know that one. All right, here we go. So it basically launched the Chrome browser team, and that is all that it did. So now I can say what is happening primarily. Now this MID is nothing but an object that is always going to point to that Chrome browser. So if I re-execute this, all that will happen is a browser opening, and that is about it. Now, if you say MID, you're always referring to that browser. MID dot will give you the list of commands that you can do. And one of the first commands that is critical is that you want to go to a website, and to go to a website you can use get, and a lot of commands team that will come up. As you go more into automation, you can look at them now. Of course. But we're going to use the get command to go to a specific URL. There's only one way to know team exposure. Now I showed you, now you know. So we'll keep learning this like this. Oh, I'm sorry. So, okay, myid.get. Let's go to a website. I have one favorite app team. Helps me to do a simple testing always. Mortgage calculator.org. Can you all try and write almost this code while I'm doing it on your machines? I'm going to rerun this code. Let's see what happens. You see that navigating to this application, everyone? I'm sorry, team. I don't think I have too much voice in there. Okay, so now this is a simple application team. We're taking it as an example to learn Selenium to a certain extent and how it primarily works with Python and what all can we do. We can do amazing number of stuff team. So we have navigated. So whenever I see my D, the whole control is there. So this word my D has a direct control to this browser. So I can navigate on it. I can click anywhere I want. I have that right now. So next comes one more advancement, and I want to close it towards the end. Once this is done, myid.close. See, so how do we know team? Bunch of commands. They're very straightforward English speaking like, but a little bit more practice, more exposure to Selenium, you will get it in 3 to 4 days sitting on it. So now let's rerun this. Opening browser, navigating. I want to see, I don't remember the exact command to maximize and close. See, all done. MyD dot maximize. Oh, see, so clear it is. I just wanted to write the word maximize and it is having that. So the only difference, as I'm showing you, is it will make that window hopefully full screen. Was it after navigation or before? I don't remember. After. And so I think I should do that before. Did you observe team how many times I'm executing the same code repeatedly? I'm not getting tired. The reason is I'm learning it. I'm trying to talk about how we can do one thing after the other. Now, just note this team. All this works fine for us, correct? So browser opened. Hello, maximize it. Okay, there. Maximize first, navigate it, then closed. Can we wait here, team? Put a wait between these. How do we put a wait in Python? Anyone? I want my Python program to wait. So far, I don't think we've used the wait commands, correct? Time.sleep, import time. There's one more. Sleep, import time. So now we're coming to one more thing. So if I write time.sleep, I don't think it's got anything built into it. Sleep for 10 seconds. Maybe X, because that may be too long for us. 3 And team, the concept is not to write a very advanced code to begin with, but understand the structure. See how we did only from Selenium import WebDriver, all this is done. And this time.sleep 3 seconds, if I run, I think it will fail because I don't know if it has that built in. We may have to import it. So let's see. we will know what happens. It will at least execute till those steps. If it does not close, 3 seconds also. I think it's a little over 3 seconds, maybe, unless I'm thinking too fast. And yeah, there you go. So name time is not defined. So what we're talking about also is the fact that sometimes not all packages are there for you to use it as is, and you need to import them. And here I'm importing time. Actually, I thought it should suggest itself. Now let's try and write one more time dot sleep. There we go. And it comes nicely as well. So hopefully the same one now will work better. Team, I still have that question. Someone in the chat mentioned you have a question, some issue. Because I'm going to give an exercise, Deepa, right? Deepa, you are there? Still have any issue? Want to share your screen? We can do it. I don't think she's there. Okay, that's fine. All right. So now where are we? Now what happened? Did it execute? I didn't even see team. Let's close some of the old ones. I think it should have. So now here is one good portion of how we can open a browser, maximize it, wait, let it wait, and close and so on. Let's copy this. Let's take a new one. And specific reason this is important, team, because you'll see that there's a base and then we may sometimes need to add more things to it. SWD2. Now I want to go to that elements and start doing something. So what do I mean? In this application called mortgagecalculator.org, I'm going to go and type something here. To be able to type on an element, I need to identify. So team, I'm fast tracking this. I'm assuming, little bit of element identification, but primarily, listen to my words keenly once, please. Every website is built of a HTML code at the back end. This is my front end. But if I right click and say view page source, it will show me that entire HTML code through which I can see whatever it is there. That HTML code is there on the server, on the cloud. Whenever you refresh the page or go to that page, this latest version comes to you and you can see that. That is your HTML source code. Now, every specific thing that you see, like a link, this label text field, this edit box, this radio fields, buttons, drop downs, whatever you see here, or images, all of these are specific elements. Now, the concept of automation is simple. Number one, number one is not too complicated. But then, what did I want to write? Yes. What to do with the action. Simple like click or type, etc. But you also need to know where to do, because there could be so many fields, right? Like email field or password field or drop down one and so on. Then sometimes you need test data. Info needed to perform the task. So, for example, I'm talking about what username to type, what password. So any concept of automation, this is the only three things that we have to give to. Okay. So now we will write the code accordingly. I will say my D. What is MyD saying? Can you tell me what is MyD right now? Everyone? And I please want to, and I'm seeing all of your names, team, who are being active and not, even in the chat at least. I would want to see your answers. What is MyD, please? So just object not enough, Chrome not correct, MyDriver not correct, MyD equal to WebDriver not correct enough, WebDriver not sufficient enough, Chrome browser object. So maybe few more words we need, but as long as we're getting the concept, MyD is an object of type, what type? WebDriver, right? That is currently pointing to this application called mortgagecalculator.org. Because at this point, MyD has gone there also. So at any point I'm talking about this application. I can always go to a different application from there. MyD is a WebDriver object. It's currently pointing to a Chrome browser on this UI. I know it's a long sentence. You all have only opportunity to type quick test. So I'll take quick text. So I'll give you the advantage. But I just wanted to keep thinking, what is it that we do? And almost all of you are giving the answers. Now what I'm saying, what to do. So first, I have to actually answer where here. Then we'll talk about what. So where do I have to perform? I have to go to my driver, that is my browser. Okay. And once I say dot, you'll see the most important concept called this find elements. Okay. And this find element are the key building blocks. And I still have to explain. So I don't know how many times I have to explain this. ID, name, not UT in general through my career. CSS, link text, class, whatever, bunch of things. So primarily, what are we saying? If I right click, observe what I'm doing, team. Very simple, you have to repeat and do an exercise after this. Right click, inspect. And you go to the inspect, you will basically go to the specific code section for that element. If I say this home value text that I'm seeing here, I right click and I go to inspect, I see that specifically here. Now say I change this here. It's actually developer tool team. I don't need this console. Down. I say new home value. See what happens here? It updated. But do you think the actual website got updated, team? No, it's not showing up on the website. Just on my local system, I made a change because this HTML code gets downloaded whenever we visit a website. Okay, so much I spoke. It's not easy sometimes you get trained with it. Now, what I'm doing is right click again, inspect. So I'm going to that specific field and forget about this change. It's more like testing what we want to do. We can. We're not interested in this change at all. So you can ignore what I showed. Just that you can look at the code. You have control to it. So here I have that entire information. This right click on it again, say copy outer HTML. Have to take it to a notepad and paste it. Now, like I mentioned here, you have to use the ID, name, XPath, some attribute. So this basically becomes the HTML tag. Then there's the ID here, class, type, step, and so on. Sometimes you will have difficulty with them, but as long as you have certain things, you're good. Now, I can use maybe home val as an identification, something unique to identify. So what I do is I say MyD dot find element by ID. I know because I saw an identification, and that is home value. Home value. So far, what part of, so in this code, so far, which step did I perform, team? 1, 2, or 3? This is an easier thing for you to type an answer. So on line 17 so far, what is it that I've performed? 1, what to do, 2, where to do, or 3, test data. All of you. Everyone, please, last one. Won't trouble you more with questions today. Answer should be only 1, 2, or 3. Why are everyone not answering? You're still reading, that's fine, team, but okay. So let's correct here. I've seen enough good and correct and wrong answers. I'll correct you all quickly so there's no confusion. See, what am I doing here? MyD. MyD means my browser. Correct? So that is my browser. Where is the browser? In the browser, I'm saying find an element by ID home. I'm so far only finding something. That is this. So let us see what I said. What to do? It's an action, like a verb. Where to do, like a noun. So like, specific information has to be given about that. Last one is test data. Like if I want to type a home value, what do I do? So we have only the answer to the question is number 2, team. We have only covered this portion so far. Now I say on that element, let us type, send keys. That is the command that will send something. And I'll say I want to send 234. Blah, blah. Now, send keys is number 3. Correct? As data? No. It is number 1. What to do? That's what your send keys is. Your 234,000 is your test data. Now let us see what happens. But I'm not going to close my browser, team, because I won't be able to see that clearly. And we can close it ourselves. So change that code now. Is it still doing number 1, 36, or I'm executing 35, not the latest one. So let that finish, please. I think it's done. Now let's execute this. It's gonna go and it's gonna type something. Now, the biggest exercise that you have, team, is there you go. It's typed 234,000. Do you see that? Now, how do we do some verification? I'm going to show you something simple. I want you to take it a little bit more advanced. I'll be too tired after the class. I'll send you an exercise on Skype chat tomorrow morning. But now I want to type one more. Down payment, 234,000 home value. So here down payment, I will type. So see how I'm inspecting quickly. I will not waste too much time because I'm maybe good at it. Most of you should be. ID is down payment. So here in the code, I'll just change this to down pay, is it, or payment? Down payment, the whole thing. And send keys, I've only got 10,000. And I want to click on this, compare loan types, and get the data. So how do I click on this, inspect? Now see, the only difference is I will still go to my ID, but still find my element. I don't know if it's using ID. We'll see. So right click again, inspect. Input type is button, value is there. I don't see ID here, team, but I see name is loan type button. So maybe I can use that. a subtle variation. So if one attribute is not there, Selenium gives you the chance to be able to choose different other ways. Now we are saying using name. It's in ID so far. Now we're using name. These are the only few themes that you can use. The only complicated one a little bit would be a dynamic XPath that you need. Right now, by name and here's my value dot send keys. Are we going to send keys team onto it? Basically, I'm going to click on it. So maybe there's a click command. Let me see this. Okay, there it is. Now, if I do this, what would happen on the application? Let's see. And since I don't have a closed browser myself, it's a good idea to. Are you all following, team, what we're doing out here? Oh, that's a new one. I didn't see this happening earlier. Maybe is it all done? Let me see my test. If there's an issue, it would have told me. So it's easy to put a few print statements, team. Let's not be lazy. Start test. These are like checkpoints. Go to application under test as to what we're doing. Type start adding content. No more. Adding test data, because these are test data. What we want to test using. And that's the action that we're doing here. Done. So here I'll print sleep and close. That's the whole thing. Why did I want to say this? I want to get this value team. So right now I see this as my total monthly payment. So before that, I want to compare total monthly payment to this value. Okay. So how do I do that now? Let's close this. Let's rerun this, get it till that stage. And team, please follow what I'm doing. For some of the experts, it may look, oh, come on, it's a little basic, but it's solid foundation fundament. Okay. You cannot go wrong with this. Should not try. Oh, this one is coming up. I know now. Maybe because it's too less. That's why it's coming up. I got the same one. So let's rerun this just in case that is the problem. I'll say I'll put about 40,000, maybe 60,000, 70,000. Close the old one. Little patient. Now, what I want you to do, take it right away, team, as an exercise. I want you to repeat the same one for at least 5 different sets of test data. Is that clear? That pop-up is coming only during automation. So close that pop-up. Why is it not coming otherwise? Let's see. 300, whatever is there as default. I'm getting this. So let's talk about closing this also. Inspect button type, button ID is C box close. Very good, sweet. So it's like candy for me. It's not even troubling us. So before we can click, is it after click it's coming, team? Did it come after click? After click. And C box close. So mighty dot find element by ID C box close. Close, is it? Yeah. Dot click on that. After that, and then what we will do is let's look at this last one. We're almost there. Inspect. See, I have this element here, and it doesn't really have anything like an ID, name, XPath, CSS, like we saw for most of the other ones. So I'm going to take a quick shortcut. Right click again, say copy, not outer HTML because there's nothing there, just H3, heading of size 3, which is the H for the biggest, H6 is the smallest. Now I'm going to say copy XPath, flat, not even thinking about the logic. Now, bot, that's a big one. I'm sorry. How can it be so big? I think even H3 will work, but that's fine. What I'll do, team? XP equals all of this. So if I put all of this in double quotes, the double quotes inside the double quotes should be made as single quote, single quote. Keep going all the way to the end. Team, I'm sorry if I'm going very fast in today's session, but thank goodness we have videos. H3 end of the double quotes. That's my X path. Now I just put it here, team. So what do I want to do? I want to say my d dot find an element using what method was it? Sorry, team, 1 second, please. Okay, sorry. So my d dot, this was so I'm using XPath, team. So when I said right click and say copy, we used to actually copy the outer HTML that will get the code. But if I copy outer HTML for this, you only get me very basic details like this. It's not enough to identify sometimes because there will be lot of H3s. May not be that this is the first one. I use it by order, but see, even this is the same heading, even this will be PMI, same font almost. See, even that is H3. So which one should I recognize? I cannot use that. So that's when I right click and say inspect. And again, right click on the code, the HTML code, copy, export. We got the whole one and we put it into a variable. So now I'm saying my d.find element using what method, team? Can anyone tell me now? Which option do I use? By ID, name, which one? Come on. It's an expert, team. You just have to say find element by expert and give the value. It's there in this. Once I do it, what I'm going to do is I want to get the text from it. So maybe dot text will return that. Is it a function? If it is, then we can print and I would know what is coming out. I think it's a property maybe. But let's try this. So now all that we're doing is we're finding it by XPath. This we did a shortcut copied it. We're trying to get the text out of that. And let's see if it comes out, then I can say if so and so, then do this, then do that. The test is running. I've alt tabbed out of the browser. Now I am back on my PyCharm. So going to the application, string object is not callable. See, text. Let's see. Let's see if it works. Everything correctly also. On to the web app, entered. Close that, please. Come on. Why are we not closing it? Ah, but it got the value. What? We didn't click on it. We said click on it. If there's a problem, it will actually, how do I say, give an error here. Exit code -1, head1 and all. Let me put a wait statement here, team. Couple of seconds after clicking, because slowly appearing, and I really don't need it here. So now observe the fact come on. Where am I? And I've closed this. My only interest is if I enter these values as input, I'm expecting that as well. So I don't need a print. If I put it actual EMI, for example, equals this, whatever it is, fact EMI equals what's the value? $6, and this is a string team, so be careful with everything that you give there, including decimals and so on. Then print just fail. Okay, that's good. So more we get into this automation, the idea is not to keep your eyes and ears always on the application. Is to also rely on what is happening with the execution itself. And sometimes the tests are running overnight, team. You need to figure out if that's true or not. So I didn't print EMI. Idea to always print them. And let's say I change this now to 15.0.63 and I run. So I can be blind about the website because I've written it once, my automation should be able to handle it each time. But let's see about that pop-up. There you go. I waited for 2 seconds smartly because it was slowly coming up. And I was saying smartly to myself. Sorry. But what happened here? Test fail. Yeah. So here you can say so and so. And here you can say things like expected plus, oh, it's Python, right? I'm coding in oof, $150.1.63. I don't need and by actual we have team. Any questions? Now what I want you to do, ready team, take these, put it into for loop, change the values, read it maybe from a list or something, and start to execute and see what's happening. Okay? Show that to me tomorrow and enjoy this video, please. What's that, please? Vashni, without function, Karthik, just text alone. Yeah, whatever you can do. But just practice on Selenium WebDriver, please. Get your system running through that. And then I want you to do a data-driven framework. I want you to learn how to read and write from Excel, some data maybe, and do that instead of from the code next stage. And then we'll stop it out there, maybe take a peek into bot framework, how it works, API JSON, I think we could with the line. Okay, team, I'm really apologize some days for those delays or gaps. It's just that I'm doing multiple trainings at the same time, it becomes chaotic. And I don't have too many helping hands, so kind of little chaotic for me. This video, team, shortly, I mean, at least for temporarily, I'm putting them in YouTube because Pawan is having to organize a few things. I'll put it in YouTube in the next couple of hours. It'll be like. Did you like what you saw, team, on how Python can work on Selenium WebDriver? So it shows you, right, the possibilities on what next and how we can become SDETs in Python too. So it's not going to be a tough thing. All right, team, all the best then. Take care. Bye now. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.